Man, it's been a hot minute since we reacted to Boris City magazine, and they always have some hot, controversial, stuff to talk about, which I love, and it seemed like you guys enjoyed this shit. So if you guys have any thought, don't hesitate, comment in the comment below, and let's discuss it. So this time we're gonna be reacting to, uh, what is it called? Uh, it's called How BTS Teamwork Makes the Dream Work and Why Most Boy Bands Don't Last. So we're gonna be reacting to some little arguments on why BTS do make a great team, which honestly by the title of it and even without the title of it I've already knew they do make a great team. So let's get into it, and we can be enlightened on some stuff that we didn't know before, and also get some little insight from you guys in the comment. If you guys want to, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video. Let's get into it. All right, let's get it.
Recently, the NSYNC members reunited after 20 years to release an OST for an animated film. And I came across a clip of an interview where they say something that caught my attention.
Yeah, One Direction's an amazing band, but you have 5 guys that are amazing singers and great soloists. So when they come out and do songs, it's like you fight over where is this going to be. We kind of knew we sucked at singing certain things. We fell into our spots and we knew our place. It was like I knew I'd be the high stuff, these guys would do the leads, Joey would be in the middle, and Lance would be on the bass. It was a lot easier since we started with a sound rather than 5 amazing vocalists. I mean, not to say we're not, but I just did.
I don't completely disagree with everything they are saying, but all of this did make me think for a while. Is it possible to have a vocal group in which all the members are extremely good singers? Does a group can only have 1 or 2 frontmen or frontwomen to last? Does this apply to BTS, the current biggest group in the world? These are their main points. And remember that this is not about bands.
Also, it's kind of interesting, when they mention like when they formed the group. By the way, I've never heard of that group. Oh, I have, but not in that way. But the way they were like, oh, we kind of had to find our, strongest trait in the group. I don't think that was the case with BTS. The way it was formed was like, everybody has their own strength, and then through them being together, they kind of learned and like, practice the other stuff that they were lacking, which in a way kind of made it even more of a good teamwork, because like if Jungkook, didn't know something that V knew, then they'll literally like trade each other and teach each other. So I feel like that also made them easy for them to work together as a team, and it just grows in you. You know what I mean? So I can see why like that group would struggle at the beginning, to like form and like give each other role in the group, because they thought they'll like literally be capable of doing everything. They didn't actually find where they have the strength at and where they have the weakness, and then if the other person has strength there, they can fill it up for them. They kind of like, oh yeah. So I can see where groups do struggle for that shit.
Their voices. Number 1, it's easier to start with a sound rather than individual vocals. Number 2, group members that fall into their spots and know their place, like NSYNC, work smoothly. Number 3, when all the members of a group are great soloists, like One Direction, they're going to fight for the spotlight, creating conflict. Let's take this apart. And yes, this is going to be one of those videos in which I overanalyze one small piece of content.
Hey, we don't blame you, okay? Why not? Yeah. Yeah.
The first point is that it's easier to start with a sound rather than individual vocals. I agree with this. This is actually how BTS started. Hip-hop and R&B were their first big inspirations. The vocal line singing in harmony and the rap line taking turns for the rap parts were very present in their first trilogy of albums known as the School Trilogy. With time...
I still haven't heard that album, so if you guys want me to check out, let me know, and recommend some song that you guys love from that album. But yeah, like they had to start somewhere, and like each of them had somewhere they had passionate in, you know what I mean? So let's get it though.
Each member started finding their own sound and leading certain songs. With even more time, every member started having solo songs in both BTS's albums as well as in their own solo projects. So I totally agree. It's easier to start with sound rather than individual vocals. But you cannot do this forever. It can become repetitive and boring, not only for the public but for the members themselves. That's why Cher and Sync lasted longer than One Direction, but they also broke up relatively early in their careers. Another
Right.
one of their points is that One Direction didn't work out because they were all amazing singers from the beginning. But in my opinion, One Direction did not start with five amazing individual vocalists. They
Ooh.
actually started with one sound, just like NSYNC did. This sound, not evolving, was Zayn's main motivation to leave the group. Zayn wanted to do more R&B, but his songs and even his natural voice recordings were always rejected. So
Ooh.
starting with sound is fine, but the sound needs to evolve. Especially with boy bands, members start young, so it's unnatural to maintain the same sound forever. In
Oh
the case
no.
of BTS, they
Yeah, like you gotta leave some growing room. You can't just like stay in that one spot just because it's working for eventually like people get tired. Like that's like something that's going around like, oh, we're tired of the same way of artists just singing up, like conducting the music, and like you gotta leave room for improvement, and like just try to do something new, you know what I mean? So just because an artist already have a sound and has a role doesn't mean they cannot grow out of it. And it just make it less toxic.
living over a decade together because they allowed themselves to evolve their sound. Sure, the classical BTS R&B harmonies from their school trilogy are still present in their songs, but it's not all they do. As soloists and as a group, they do more genres and sounds than any other group I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Number 2, group members that fall into their spots and
Mm-hmm.
know their place work smoothly.
On
It's okay
God.
to start with a sound in mind, but that usually comes with certain roles. That's what NSYNC said. One did the high notes, one did the bass, one was at the center,
Right.
etc. But I don't think you can realistically fall into your same spot forever. That is exactly
Yeah.
why most Western groups disband early. Knowing
Yeah.
your place in the group can help a lot to prevent conflicts related to performing. It's a very
It's literally what I mentioned, at the beginning, like how BTS member went into the group knowing, what their strength at, and where they want their music, because they were rappers, they singers, and all that shit. So a rapper cannot want to do singing at the beginning, where they already had like intention. So it kind of already put them, in such a great position, start up and build from there, and then you learn from each other. Man, that's crazy.
very professional stance, but
Hmm.
it can and it will almost definitely limit growth. Because at the end of the day, the NSYNC members can talk all they want about their group working out, but they only lasted 2 more years in One Direction, and they did end up breaking up because Justin was secretly planning a solo career. Their words, not mine. Of course, One Direction's breakup carried more conflict than NSYNC's breakup, but just because NSYNC took the most professional
Also, I honestly I don't know shit, but I didn't know Zayn was in this group. I've heard one song from him, just one song. That shit was a banger, man. He dropped it in 2016, and that shit was a banger. Okay, but other than that, I don't even know that much about One Direction, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys right now.
way of doing things doesn't mean that this is the best way and the best outcome a group can have. They are simply not a good example for longevity. In K pop, they will be considered just one more group victim of the 7-year curse. Falling to your spot and knowing your place in the group are things extremely common in K pop. Each member falls into a very specific category: lead
Right.
vocal, sub vocal, lead rapper, main rapper, sub rapper, lead dancer, main dancer, etc. Western boy bands don't have these exact names, but groups like NSYNC follow a similar structure. So if it's
They
not
have to.
working with Western groups and it's not working with K-pop groups, why do you still think that this is the correct way of doing things? Maybe K-pop companies notice this, because with time and whether K-pop fans want to admit it or not, with the increased global popularity of BTS, it became less common for the members of a K-pop group to have designated positions. Maybe this is because
You just have to go with it, because it also just makes life easier for the artist, potentially showing what they're capable of. Like it just applies to everything. Like with me coming to basketball, I had to accept, what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing, and what are my, biggest strength. And since then, honestly, I've been happy playing basketball. You know, you just love what you do even more. And like it shows you where you can also, better people around you, to know how they can help you, and just improve you in general, and it just applies to everything. That's why it has worked out for BTS members so easily, because they just fell into the role, and then they grew out of it, and they're learning more stuff, and they're able to like go to each other and like learn something. They don't even have to go far away. They just have to go to each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Because when BTS debuted in America, there was not really a recognizable main guy or a main rapper or a main dancer. They all dance and they all perform. So the
Right.
response by K-pop companies was to debut groups in which all the members are almost the same artist. They have a similar color of voice, a similar personality, a similar vocal range, a similar dancing ability, and even a similar appearance. I'm not saying that this is good or bad. In my opinion, it can work sometimes, but other times it's just boring, especially
Sure.
for a Western audience that likes finding a unique trait in each member of a group. All the members of a group not overpowering each other doesn't
Also,
mean that
it's more of like, it's boring if you don't actually go deep into it. You just like base off what you saw as a group thing. But if you go individually, that's how I end up learning more about BTS. When I saw what V does, with his, capturing face expression and everything, and then Jungkook, like, they're all just different, man. You know what I mean? Like, it could be boring if the label make the artist do the exact same shit, like dressing, hair, and everything like that. But at the same time, if you give it a chance and actually try to learn individually, that you should be able to know what's up.
they have to be the same. With BTS, there's no uniformity, there's cohesion. They are all very different people with very different skill sets. Each
I
of
can
them
agree
plays
on
a
that.
unique role in the group, just like NSYNC said they did. But their positions are not set in stone because their sound is also not set in stone. A variety
Definitely
of
not.
sounds allows each member to find a wider variety of voices. With each sound they do, they rotate their positions in the group, even inspiring them to try new sounds.
Honestly, and I love that the fact that they rotate the voices, and just the way they can like also hit you with the combo, the triple double, the quadruple, all that shit. Like, it's crazy, and it just add excitement to it. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have seen me losing my shit because they're always singing together, like just like right after each other. That also happens with the Mamamoo group, because the way they just sing after, yeah, man, it's crazy. So they just know how to better improve their sound, all as a group and also individually. Like, it's crazy.
In their solo projects. In 2013, no one would have thought that RM would release acoustic songs in which he only sings, or that Jin would choose to dance full choreographies in his solo songs,
Right.
or that J-Hope would choose to release a rockier sound in which he doesn't dance. This is the benefit of not just falling into your spot. It's important to recognize what you bring to the table, but longevity will come when you allow the members to find more than one skill they can bring to the group.
Right.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest
Man.
deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target. You can drop prices automatically.
I don't want to though. All right.
Number 3. When all the members of a group are great soloists, they are going to fight for the spotlight, creating conflict.
Oh,
This
yeah.
comes with the assumption that in a group there has to be a lead role, and if every member fits the lead role because all of them are extremely talented, the other positions will be forced and unnatural.
Oh,
This
God.
point was my main motivation to make this random video, because I disagree. Each BTS member has proven over the years that they are amazing soloists, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe that's exactly what sets them light years apart from other boy bands or K-pop groups.
Shout out to Bora City Magazine, man. I love how they be making this kind of stuff, and you discuss them, and all that shit, and you actually get to see where people point of views are. Like, I'm gonna go after recording this video into the comment and see what's up and everything, and just see where everybody's stand. But shit, these are good videos, man.
I'm not trying to say that there's not a single group apart from BTS in which all the members are capable of being amazing soloists. But what I am saying is that they are not successfully bringing those unique talents to their groups. I've talked before about K-pop's attempt of a supergroup, which is formed with members successful as solo artists or as members of other groups. But I believe that one of the many reasons they did not work out artistically is because they will kind of lower their abilities to match each other in songs that don't favor them, instead of being different unique pieces of an interesting puzzle. In my opinion, that is the only way a group full of talented artists can work. A good non-K-pop
I can agree and also disagree in a way with that point that they made, that a group of a talented artists can work out. Like it could, but at the same time, the chance of it not working out is really high. Like people ego just get in the way most of the time. Like I've seen that. Like I can use basketball as an example. Like I've seen a bunch of people who are such great basketball players form a super team, right? I'm not talking about NBA. Like just people around you that you've seen them, play basketball, you know what they're capable of. You've seen them, trying to be in a group where, people are also capable of the same thing that they do, but even stronger than them. And it never works out. Another person want to have the ball by themselves, the other person doesn't want to pass, you know. The other person don't want to play defense. Like, it never work out. You guys just start get frustrated by each other, and then, So, I can see where they're coming with this, but at the same time, I don't think it works.
related example is Pentatonics. By themselves, they have different solo careers, and together, they are probably the most successful a cappella group, and they've been active for more than 12 years. When they are a group, each of them brings something to the table. Like NSYNC recommended, each of them has their own position: tenor, baritone, soprano, percussion, and bass. But their variety of sounds allows all of the members to be at the center and be the backing vocals at some point or another. When a
Right.
very talented artist is surrounded by other very talented artists, there has to be selflessness. You will
Oh,
have
yeah.
your moment to shine, and you will have to help your teammates shine as much as you. This is the only way I've seen
And
supergroups
honestly,
truly
the more, there's also that, uniqueness when it comes to, you shining. Like, if you're able to shine as a group and then you shine by yourself, it just shows how diverse you are, when it comes to, like, working in different environment, like you adapt easily and you're able to, like, work at your best potential, like nothing is holding you back, like none of your weakness shows, you know what I mean? Like they all work together as a group, but then individually, they're fucking crazy. And that's the same energy they bring in their videos, you know what I mean? So, big shout out to them, man.
work. For example, BTS's first Grammy performance was thanks to RM's work as a solo artist. The nominated song was Old Town Road, and only RM performs in one of the remixes, but he decided to share his 50 seconds in the song with all of the BTS members. I'm not sure other group members would have been selfless enough to lift their groups along with them. But for BTS,
Also, you gotta understand, RM, I think, is the leader of the group, right? From what I've heard and, like, seen. Like, he's usually the main guy who, like, speaks for them, and, when they're doing, like, serious meeting and stuff. RM, honestly, like, feel like since they have grown together since they were, like, young and, like, still in high school, like it just become such an easy thing to accept, who's the old, and just like the tradition. Like I've watched, like, videos of, like, if you're the younger one, they refer you as the younger one, and if you're the older one, oh, you're the oldest one. There's just that mutual respect, of just that cultural, thing that you were already taught as a kid. That already has something, inflict in you all, and it's just crazy, man. And then as you just grow on, next to each other, and learning more about each other, you get to respect each other even more. So RM act as a leader, and at the same time act as, a brother, or a younger brother. Like it doesn't matter. So I can see why RM, will be selfless in that decision, and make sure the whole group actually participate in it. Sorry if I'm
Yes,
talking
this
too much.
is a common practice. Each BTS solo career are 7 different opportunities for them to redirect audiences to BTS as a supergroup project,
Right.
especially in recent years. When they promote a solo artist, they always introduce themselves as a member of BTS.
I go by the name of RM of BTS.
안녕하세요, BTS입니다.
반갑습니다. 슈가이자.
I'm J-Hope for BTS.
I'm Jimmy of BTS.
방탄소년단의 빈입니다.
If only one member is part of a collaboration with another artist, most times they will make BTS's name visible one way or another.
Oh, yeah,
This
you got
was the
to, man.
case of Soul Town Road and BTS's first Grammy performance in 2020. It
Yeah.
was a song by Lil Nas X, RM, and BTS, although only RM performed in the digital version. Suga's Interlude, in which only Halsey and Suga perform, is a song by Halsey, Suga, and BTS. Left
Right.
and Right, in which only Charlie Puth and Jungkook sing, is a song by Charlie Puth, Jungkook, and BTS. When BTS is not a featured artist in a collaboration, they will sometimes add Member of BTS. Angel Part 1 and 2 are songs by Jimin of BTS. Lilith is a song by Suga of BTS. Rush Hour is a song by J-Hope of BTS. My point is that BTS takes the phrase teamwork makes the dream work very seriously. Of course, the why of
I like how they emphasize so much on that, and like, you know, the being consistent with it, even, you know, when even it just comes to just writing the name, you know, it's just a name, but it means a lot to them, you know, it not feeling like, you know, they're just out there for themselves, but for the whole group, you know what I mean? Because however you're successful is how the team is gonna be viewed, you know, like however Jungkook and, you know, V was successful, you know, doing the album, people know them as a group, so, you know, obviously they're gonna get their, you know, flowers and everything as individual artists, but, you know, it just comes back to their team, you know, like the way they are today is, you know, comes from, you know, them learning from each other and, you know, better knowledge each other, you know, and some stuff that, you know, people don't know. Like I've seen them, you know, teaching each other English or like how to dance or, you know, how to hit vocals and all that shit, and like just being able to be there beside each other and like, you know, encourage each other, you know, do the most simple stuff. That's what it does, you know. It just makes you a whole team.
is another story. But in summary, their lack of opportunities and constant struggles in the industry allowed them to find out that together they are stronger.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
increasing success proved them right. So even today with their solo projects, they are constantly creating opportunities and visibility for their team. But this selflessness goes beyond their group projects, because for them, this is more a mindset than a strategy. Even when they are performing with other artists who are not part of BTS, they still maintain their teamwork mindset. This tweet says something interesting about BTS's selflessness as performers. I saw a clip of a K-idol singing a song impromptu with a soloist. He was good. He had the skill. He had the technique. The crowd was awed at his performance. The girl he was singing with, usually a good singer, seemed to be trying to keep pace. It played like a battle between two vocalists trying to best each other, with the audience passively receiving what's being dished out to them. Like this Twitter thread mentions later, J-Hope of BTS gave J. Cole space to shine in their collaboration. This is J-Hope's song. He is doing the promotions. He is doing the performances by himself. But he still gave J. Cole the spotlight. And
Oh,
BTS
yeah.
does this with every artist they collaborate. They
They
make
do.
the feature artist
I always wonder that, you know, like the artist either doesn't. I mean, for the recent one I've seen, like the artists do actually show up to the music video, but when it's performance or some stuff, you know, like the artist cannot make it, but you know, they still give them, you know, the credit for it. But yeah, man, shout out to them.
one more member of BTS. I think this is more than just being respectful. When a
Yeah.
collaboration or a group look more like a competition rather than a union of talents, it shows. So I agree that it's very hard for groups to work out when they are all extremely talented. But BTS has shown that it's not impossible. When groups in which every member is a star truly prioritize teamwork, the results will always include success.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there has to be real teamwork. There has to be real selflessness. Just think about all of the BTS members doing their mandatory military service together. The younger members don't have to go for another 3 or 4 years. But since it was time for Jin to go, then they are all going now. This way, they can all reunite as soon as possible. You may
Right.
think this is obvious, but no other K-pop group has done this. They
No.
always wait until each of them reaches the age when they
It's more of like, instead of putting, you know, the individual self first, they think about the other person behind them. You know what I mean? And I feel like that came with the fact that they actually grew together. You know, not like grew together, but you know, since they started their music journey, they've always been right next to each other, and you know, they had to depend with each other, and you know, like, remember when I was telling you, like, have BTS members ever thought of like taking a break or something? This is the reason, you know, like it's crazy, you know, but that just shows you how healthy it is for them to communicate, you know, when something is bothering them, and you know, they can depend on each other no matter what, you know. nobody's gonna like lose their shit because somebody was petty or like did something petty. Like I don't think that's something escapable.
They have to go. They prioritize their personal interests, which I'm not saying is bad, but it does show BTS's unique teamwork. In conclusion, I mostly agree with what's being said in this clip. It can be a lot easier to focus on sound rather than individual vocals. It's true that group members that fall into their spots and know their place tend to work smoothly. It's true that when multiple members of a group are great soloists, they are most probably going to fight for the spotlight. But I think all of this being true most of the time makes BTS an even more impressive musical act. Against all odds, they overcame every obstacle. They survived their first years with not many opportunities. They became the biggest group in an industry that only allows groups from big agencies to be at the top. They made a name for themselves in an industry that doesn't truly welcome foreign music. They paved the way for Korean artists to have global visibility. And they remain as proof that being in a group does not automatically mean talented people being limited. When done correctly and sincerely.
I love this, man. Borough City, shout out for making this, and it's such a different perspective, when you say it from there, and like you can have certain stuff that you agree and disagree, and still make your point, and just also try to listen to other people's point of view. But this is good to show like people can want the spotlight, but at the same time, it's like there's certain spotlight you don't want to be in, even though you feel like you're capable of. You're just not built for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, would you rather you let somebody who's capable of it let do it, which is also in return going to work for you too. It's not just only working for them because they have the spotlight. It's more of like they work for it and then it's just benefit the whole group. Or would you rather just let your ego stop you from benefiting the like you gotta make sacrifices and like just understand what your strengths are and what aren't, and if there's somebody who's willing to take up that weakness of yours and strengthen it, then fuck it, go for it. It wouldn't hurt as long as you're doing your thing and they're doing their thing. It's vice versa. You give, I give. That's how it's supposed to work.
Rarely, the members of vocal groups can bring the best of each other and create art that relates to many.
I love this. German, man. Hey, man, that's Borough City with, how BTS teamwork makes the dream work, and I couldn't agree more with the title, man. You guys have seen it with your eyes for the past decade or something, so I don't even have to say that much, man. I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment, and what kind of stuff do you guys agree on this video and disagree with. Just discuss them. It doesn't have to be in a negative way. Just let it all out, and let's hear your point of view. It might be different from mine, and I'm okay with that. All right, I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.